What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dabs podcast. This is my first live stream. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody well. Um, yes, I decided why not, right? Go live for the first time in my podcast, my young podcast career. So, how's everybody doing out there? Um, wow, what a great great opportunity here. So, um, of course, as you can see, the shirt. What I want to talk about today is just my reaction, a quick video. I don't want to take too much of everybody's time, but you know, quick video to talk about my reaction at least to the Britney Griner case. It's just mind blowing to me, to be completely honest with you. And not only do I want to talk about the case, but why there is no outrage, and the outrage or the response that I've seen um, has been kind of disappointing um, for me as a black gay woman in America. To be completely honest with you guys, so as you know, she has been held since February 17, 2022, on charges of large scale drug transportation in Russia. Why? Because she had a total of zero point 0.7 grams of hash oil in her bag, as she was, I believe, I don't know if she was leaving or entering the country. But yeah, so she got caught up. Why is she in Russia? Well, for those of us who are not basketball fans, as far as WNBA or women's basketball, who don't follow women's basketball, you might be wondering, well, why? Why is she over there? Well, she's over there because she has to supplement her income, right? And that's a good opportunity overseas because they pay WNBA players a lot more money over there than they do over here. Um, I think she makes over $1 million over there for a couple months versus maybe 110, 115,000, and she's on the high end of WNBA players. So she's been sentenced to 9 years, 9 years in a Russian prison for that. I believe she was sentenced yesterday, which would have been August 3rd, Wednesday, 2022. And it's so crazy to me that she is in there and that she's in there and that she's convicted. I mean, honestly, it's not crazy that she's convicted because you knew that was going to happen. Anybody who's knows anything a little bit about Russian diplomacy knows that this this trial was nothing but a sham. She was going to be convicted regardless. Um, Someone who gets caught with zero point 0.7 grams, even in Russia, a normal person would have been facing 4 months and a fine, 6 months and a fine, not being charged with large scale drug transportation and accused of having enough weed to smuggle, which I don't know how that's possible, across the border. And, we knew once she got caught in Russia that it's pretty tough that she's not going to be let out. I mean, I knew that. And as much as she does have some people that are champion for her, trying to campaign for her, as far as fellow women athletes, some NBA athletes, her wife, her family, of course, some politicians, but very weakly. She's on her own. And you know what I want to talk about more than anything in this podcast is that um, America seems to be okay with her being over there. Um, Anytime I read an article or I read comments or Facebook uh, media posts about it, a lot of people are saying, "Oh well, you know what? She deserves that. That's what she gets. She should have known the law where she goes. You should only travel where you know the law, and you should have known that that's something that they do and this and that." I've also seen people say that, "Hey, if it happened to me, I'd be asked out. So why does she get special treatment?" Which blows my mind because it's like, wow. Number one, it's not you. You're over here. You're good. It's a human being who, even if, let's say she did have it, made a mistake, is definitely not trying to transport drugs. Um, had it for her own personal use. And are you saying that if somebody made a mistake like that in another country, they shouldn't be helped? This reminds me of, um, a movie way back when we were younger. I don't know if you guys remember. It's called Broke Down Palace, where Claire Danes, I do remember Claire Danes was one of the actresses. She got um, caught up with one of her friends with a boy who put pounds of cocaine in their stuff. I think it was in the Asian country, and they got locked up. And one of them had to fall on the sword for the other one, so that the other one um, could pretty much not live the rest of her life in prison. And so her friend leaves her there knowing that she's probably going to be there the rest of her life because she got caught up with the boy who set her up with kilos of cocaine. We're talking zero point 0.7 grams, not 7 grams, not 7 ounces, not 7 pounds. Oh, we got a visitor on the live chat here, people. We got a visitor on the live chat. So yes, I think that it's pretty crazy that she's going through this. But more than anything, the response or the lack thereof, that is the surprise for me. Or is it so much a surprise as it is like wow? Because it does let you know how people really feel. And she's pretty screwed. She's on her own. The only thing she has that might help her is they want to trade for this guy who's a Russian criminal that the U.S. has that charged him or has convicted him of war crimes or the merchant of death, they call him. 25 years that guy's serving. They want to switch. So tell me that they didn't detain her without having a reason already. Fun fact, she's brought the country of Russia, who loves women basketball, a couple of championships. So it begs the question, where are her Russian owners, and why she hasn't been extended any kind of helping hand, any kind of leniency? You wanted to serve time? All right. But 9 years, I think, is crazy. Um, yeah. And that's my opinion, and that's how I feel about it. And to be completely honest, I really feel that if we were talking about, let's say, a women's basketball player who, or a women's athlete who was white, or a women's athlete who was not gay, openly gay, who was not masculine presenting, I think the reaction would be much different. You could say what you want, but as someone who is masculine presenting, who is black in this country, who is out and who's proud, I feel like I can say that, and I feel like that's true. That the fact that she's 6'9", the fact that she's huge, gay, black woman, she's got nothing that's gonna do her any favors. If she was a white, straight women athlete or singer or actress, people would be outraged. People would be outraged at the unfair situation, lack of due process. I mean, it took almost a month for her to get any access to the embassy or to the consulate. Sorry, or anybody to help her, anybody to help translate what's going on. I mean, she's in Russia. She don't speak, even though she's been there for 2 years. I'm sure she understands basic terms, but I don't think she understands legal terms in Russia. I mean, that's totally different. And for people who have this self-righteous attitude that, hey, you know what, she shouldn't have effed up, she shouldn't have done what she did, this and that. Wow. Like, I hope you've never made a mistake. I hope you've never done something that you didn't realize the consequence, or you know really needed mercy and really needed grace, because that's the attitude that I see across the internet when it comes to Brittany Griner in this country. And it's like crazy because you expected it from the Russians, because they're communist country. They don't have no rights over there. They're all oppressed. They're told what to think. LG, lesbian, gay people over there are seen as, the moral decay of society, kind of like it is over here with certain groups and certain environments. And I just feel like people are able to project, and um, they're able to let some of their frustration, because of all the things that she symbolizes and all the frustration in those areas. She's gay, she's black, and she's a woman. And I just think that, man, the only one that can really help her is God. And if he can implore anyone to show her some grace, show her some leniency. But when it comes to Russia, guess what? I don't think they pray to the same God. I don't know that. I'm talking about the Russian leaders and the Russian government bureaucratic process. Because I can't speak for all Russian people, but I just mean that their laws, the way that they're structured, their government, um, it's not geared towards anything positive coming out of the situation. So we got to pray for Britney Griner. That's all we can really do. But it hurts my heart to see the response from people in this country, and how happy people are because she protested. She used her American right to protest what she thought was racial injustice, didn't stand for the flag, and that somehow makes her a traitor. That makes her someone who deserves to be in Russia. Hey, she hated America. She should be in Russia. Why is it that if you use your American right to protest, for some people it equals that you hate America? Why is there a right for me to protest? Why is there a right for me to express myself? Um, Free speech to have and follow different religion. If you're gonna turn around and use that against me as a reason of being an American, you know, I mean, to say that she deserves to be in Russia because she's protesting racism, systematic racism, and police brutality. Like, what? You're trying to say that those things don't happen in America? And for those of you guys that really do feel like it doesn't, you trip. I don't understand what country you're living in that you would say something like that, because that is so not true, and that is obviously not true. It is not only been documented in many studies, it's a fact of life for many of us. Yes, I said us. Look at some of my videos. I have talked about some of my experiences with racial profiling, with racism by authoritative figures. And luckily for me, it didn't end in me getting arrested, me getting shot, me losing my life. But for some, it does. And the fact that it does for some, just simply because of the color of their skin, you know, um, I mean, come on, George Floyd wasn't that far ago. You guys saw that video, right? If you haven't seen that, remember, go back and see that, right? Ahmaud Arbery wasn't killed by cops, but was killed by two racist bigots in his community. Well, it wasn't necessarily his community, but community around where he was raised at. Thought that he didn't belong where he was, chased him down, um, cornered him, killed him, simply because they felt they had a right to. I mean, come on. You can't live in America and say racism doesn't exist. I don't understand that concept, and I don't understand why people um, want to say that. You know, we're not that advanced in this country to say that we've wiped out racism and that it doesn't exist. That's just crazy. Um, the gay thing, right? Obviously, that's a dividing issue in this country, and I understand it. I can't just say simply because I'm gay, I don't understand it. I do understand it. But at the end of the day, rights are rights, and I just feel like if we're gonna say people have rights, and we as individuals have rights because we're born, there's human rights that we're born with, and then there's rights in this country. But at the end of the day, just because someone is in another country, they still should have those rights. Human basic rights. I don't think anybody should be in jail for 9 years. And for those of us, or those people, I'm sorry, not us, but those people who are saying, oh well, there's all kinds of people who are sitting in prison and stuff for drugs here. Yes, but is it zero point 0.7 grams? No, it's probably pounds, kilos. It's probably multiple drug offenses, right? And it probably is transportation of drugs. So it's not comparable. You can't just throw a generic thing out there and say it's comparable, right? You can't compare someone who's sitting in jail, I'm sorry, for having multiple drug violations, violated probation, you know, is a user to somebody who's smokes weed because they have pain or uses hash a vape pen because they have pain. Do you know how many people vape in this country? Right? And you're trying to say now that they're druggies and that they are part of a large scale drug transportation. I just don't understand that. Show me the evidence where she does do that, But zero point 0.7 grams and somebody who's clearly was using it for personal use had a doctor's note presented in court saying such. Like some of you guys don't even get doctor's note when you call in sick from work. The like I said, what hurts more being a gay woman in this country is the response or lack thereof. And how many people are just like rawing her conviction and saying she deserved it. It's really disheartening for somebody who, again, zero point 0.7 grams. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's so small. Not even a gram of hash oil. That's not gonna get anybody super super high. That's maybe a head change and some relief of inflammation or joint pain. If you don't believe me, why don't you ask all the people that I see daily or weekly going into weed shops that are older Americans because they have pain and they don't want to take pills. And that's a whole other conversation because that's the alternative in this country, ain't it? Pills. Because not everybody can just be strong through the pain. So thank you guys all for coming out. I appreciate it. Please comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Um, but I appreciate you guys coming back. I always appreciate the love. Thank you guys very much. Deuce. Doo-doo.